My name is Juan Romero. I'm the Gaffer, the head electrician, and I've been working in the film business for a long time, since 1976, to be specific. When I was a senior, I was going to school at the University of Texas at El Paso, and I stumbled across a film crew that was filming a commercial for a bank. And at that point, I had a film class that I had to do a story. And so I asked the director and the DP if I could just do a behind the scenes shooting of them. So I just hung out with him for a couple of days, and that was kind of like how the film business for me started. The responsibility of the gaffer on set is as the head electrician in a production, in a motion picture or a television production. My job is to work with the cinematographer, the DP, and just come up with a plan of the look that they want for the shoot. And so based on that, I just determine what lights I'm going to be using, the manpower, the distribution of power for the lights, that sort of thing. It starts off with me as the gaffer, again the head electrician. Then we go to the best boy, electrical best boy, who's basically my right hand man. Once we determine what we're going to be doing as far as lights and distribution, we get together. I tell them what the plan is, and then he just, along with the electricians, he just makes sure that everything gets done. The skills that you need, for sure, you need to be, in my opinion, I think you need to be pretty organized, and you need to be obviously responsible, because the safety of so many people are dependent on you when you're running this kind of power. And so you have to be careful in the lights that you're using. If you're running off a generator, you have to be aware that you might have 500 amps of power, 1,000 amps of power, and basically that's going to be it. So you have to work within those parameters. Here on this stage, again, we have several boxes coming in off from the city. So we're going old school on this commercial that we're filming today. So you can see that a lot of the lights that we're using are like from way back in the day, and they draw a lot of power, a lot of heat. So we have to just be conscious of what we're doing, how much power we're drawing, and just, do the math. And I think also you have to be a little creative to maybe do what I do, maybe have a little artistic flair, because the look is going to be dependent on what you see. And to me, the lighting is probably critical. It's probably the most important thing, in my opinion. You can't do a scary movie and it's all lit wrong, so that kind of thing. At the start of the day, I start off with the DP and the key grip. Those three departments work in unison because we're going to determine the look, the camera movement. The grips are going to take care of shadowing the light. But on top of that, I also work with other departments in that, let's say, for example, the hair and makeup. If we're out on location or here on set, we have to provide power for them to, for their makeup lights, for their rollers, anything that they're going to need power-wise. Same thing for wardrobe. They're going to want power for their steamers, and the clients are going to want power for their phones and laptops. And so you just have to kind of just make sure that everybody's taken care of. Well, if you're working on a production, a big production, you're going to have a lot more men working for you. You're going to have maybe like the first unit, second unit, maybe even a third unit, which involves a lot of people, a lot more equipment. On a commercial, your time is limited to 1 or 2 days, maybe a little more, but it's more low key. The pace is a lot slower. In film production, television especially, it's a quick pace. You're probably shooting 8, 9, 10 pages a day, so you have to be very aware of your time. You don't get a lot of chances to relight, or you got to be pretty spot on to begin with. When you come on set for the first time, especially for someone who's never been on set, like this studio, for example, once the lights go down, other than what's being lit on stage, right on stage, the perimeter is going to be pretty dark. So you have to be aware of cables. Don't shuffle. Lift your feet up, walk slowly, be aware of your surroundings, and for someone new, don't touch anything that doesn't pertain to your department, especially being a new person. To me, it's always wait till you're told to do something, but always be ready to go. Don't be hesitant to ask, and just tell people, if you need help, just let me know. That's important. I like to start off coming to the set early. If we have a 7 o'clock call, I like to be here no later than like 6:15, 6:30, only because I just want to go over my notes, have coffee, breakfast, whatever, and just be ready to roll at 7 o'clock. One of the first things I learned a long time ago from a very well-known Gaffer, who's now a pretty big-time director, he always said that if you show up on time in this business, you're already late. He said if you have a 6 o'clock call, you better be there at 5:15. You don't roll in at 10 minutes till, because at that point in his book, you were already late. And it's very true. I prefer just to roll into it. I don't like to see guys coming in, last minute, and then they want to go have coffee, and 7 o'clock is time to go to work. Somebody just starting out, I think it's very important to never be afraid to ask questions. There's no such thing as a dumb question. Better to be safe than sorry, because you don't want to because if you're embarrassed to ask the question, you might make a critical mistake that's going to come back to haunt you, or you could hurt somebody. So ask the question. No one's going to laugh at you or make fun of you. That to me is that's how you learn. Again, always be there on time, pay attention, and things. Just be a sponge on set, and you'll learn. People are pretty cool. They're willing to teach you. Some of my favorite projects that I've been on, that I've really enjoyed over the years, just to name a couple. One of the very first things I ever did when I got into business was the original Dallas TV series, which when I first read the script, I thought, oh my God, this thing's never going to last 2 shows. And 13 years later, we're still doing that show. And so that was a big shock. And same thing happened with the Walker, Texas Ranger. Again, I didn't think a lot of the script, the first script that I read, but thinking the same way, it's not going to last. 10 years later, like 223 shows, we're still filming that thing. So the last one that I worked was House of Cards. That was a big show. A lot of great actors. And the thing that, for me, makes those shows stand out is that the people that were involved. Because as working so many years, you really become family. And it was just the quality of people, the quality of the technicians that were, to me, that stand out. I want to go back to the 70s, the 80s. All the light, for the most part, was tungsten, like this kind of stuff. Big lights, big power, and they're very, very hot. And we used to like filming out at Southwark in the summer when it's like 110 degrees, and then you got these lights on top of that. One of the things that to me that always stands out was seeing some of the actors' makeup just starting to run, and that was always like they'd have to go in and clean them up again and start. But nowadays, the LEDs have changed the industry for lighting, for cameras. Very seldom do you shoot film now. Everything's done on these digital cameras. the lights. You can control the color temperature off your phone, the intensity. I mean, it's some dramatic changes, but it's all for the best. But it's always nice to come back and use some of this old equipment. It's a beautiful light as well. My favorite part of the job is really just showing up to work now, because every job is different. I've been doing this for such a long time, but even to this day, I still get that little nervousness in my stomach because it's going to be a new experience. I'm going to be working with people that I haven't worked with before, along with people that I've worked with for many years. But still, I still get excited. To me, it's not a job. It's always a pleasure coming to work. And, you're going to do something that's going to be creative and rewarding. Just don't be afraid. Just if you have a dream, pursue it, and don't give up. Be persistent is the key. So, good luck.